I'm Derek Tyson with ESPN.com. I'm here with Gator Nation beat writer Mike DeRocco at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, where Florida just completed its spring scrimmage. Mike, did anybody stand out to you from the scrimmage?
Yeah, there were a lot of starters that didn't play for injury or for being, withheld for safety reasons, I guess, which is the case with Matt Jones. But I think there were a couple of guys defensively. I thought that Danny McMillan, the freshman linebacker, really made a bunch of plays there. Brian Cox was a guy who flashed a little bit too. Brian Poole made a couple of plays back-to-back. He had a sack, and then on the next one he scooped up a ball, would have scored if they hadn't blown the play dead. Offensively, Kelvin Taylor, I thought, showed up. 11 carries for 59 yards. I think a lot of people wanted to see him play, and he certainly looks like he's every bit the player he's was advertised to be. Not really that many guys on offense stood out today, though.
Now, obviously, the passing game was an area of concern in 2012. Did you see any improvements, or can you really tell from an environment like this?
Well, LaTroy Pittman didn't play. DeMarcus Robinson was hobbled with an ankle, but he did play. Quentin Dunbar had a red non-contact jersey on because of a shoulder injury. So it probably isn't a fair assessment to say that they really regressed a little bit, but they really were not impressive at receiver today. They weren't able to go down the field, although, we're talking mostly 11-on-11 situation here. There were some drills where guys made catches, but in the 11-on-11, their passing game just looked every bit as troublesome as it was last year. I think Driscoll completed only 9 of 20 passes. So it's got to get better. Got to get better.
Now that spring has concluded, along with the passing games, what areas do you think Florida needs to improve on going into next season?
Well, obviously, we talk receiver here. I think the tight ends have to get better significantly because that's an option in the passing game that they had the last 2 years that, quite frankly, right now they don't. I think the kickers need to get better. Austin Hart and Brad Phillips are battling that out, and both have been extremely inconsistent in the spring. And I think you still need to find some answers in the interior of the defense. At defensive tackle, there's going to be some depth issues there. At linebacker, Morrison has made the transition to middle linebacker, and he'll be fine, but there's still some depth issues at linebacker. And they really have to iron out their situation at safety. I think the fall will start with Jalen Watkins and Cody Riggs, a pair of corners, probably starting at safety, and then we'll just have to see who can make some movement there. But I think those are the areas that are probably the biggest troubles for Florida going into next season.
All right. For more on the Gators spring game, check out GatorNationESPN.com. For Mike DeRocco, I'm Derek Tyson, ESPN.